safety shoes, safety helmets, safety gloves. Everybody's inhaling dust. So many other things. So this is a site whereby women want to learn on doing on environment issues. They are eager to learn what they can do. They are eager to learn what they can change. And they're eager to learn correct methods of mining. So all the women are here. Maybe one woman can share. Can somebody share? Just one person. Because I'll share anything. Yeah, so I'll get one of the women to speak. My cherries. Okay, so they're just saying who's good in English, who can speak on behalf of us. So they're saying,
you can translate.
Good.
Blessing, if you want.
Okay, yes, I can translate. All right, anyone and translate around. I can translate for them. One person. My Matilda.
And can you put your camera maybe horizontal because we can't see very well?
You can't see us.
Well, I can see you, but
you just make it horizontal.
Horizontal, Blessing. Hold the.
Can you see us?
No, still you're vertical. You need to be.
Is that okay?
No, we see you on an angle. Can you try putting it horizontally?
Horizontally.
Yes, that's better. Perfect.
That's better.
That's good. Now tell us, and everyone.
Okay, so you say your name first, Rosemary. Okay, so Rosemary Dick is going to speak on behalf of the women at this site. Okay.
Thank you.
No, it's okay. Okay, all right. She's saying, let me translate a bit. She's saying we work here at Dolomite Mine, but the way we are working, we don't have enough things to work. Yeah.
Atina helmets, atina safety shoe, atina wetsuit, atina gloves, atina sunglasses. Atina bahama, 14 pounds hama, nema shovel, nema bar.
All right. She said we don't have enough tools to use at the mine site. She's talking about some of the tools, the hammers, the helmets, and the gloves. All right. Saka kwa environment nzvimbo yenyu mashandira muri kuita zviri ndizvo here.
Madzimai apo kapo anzi nzvimbo yatiri kushanda ndizvo here. Hatisi kuwana mari.
Ishoma. She's saying they don't have enough money environment and to buy some of the machineries. All right, so maybe as we go in the meeting, we'll have them answering some questions. I think you can continue, Linda. Sorry, I'll just put myself in order.
Thank you so much, Blessing. I know it's been quite challenging. I would like to welcome Wilson, who is here and will give us a bit of an idea about some of the work they've been doing on the environment in Ghana, and we'll go back and forth to these women because they remind us of the real reality. Is that all right with Wilson? Wilson, I've got a slide for you if you'd like to. I know you're quite busy, so you might like to start. Do you have a slide, or will I put some slides up?
Okay, please put my laptop was failing to connect. Yes.
Wilson, here you are.
Yeah.
What about
good
this?
Morning,
yeah.
Good morning and good afternoon. Is it afternoon somewhere?
It's
in the morning.
7. It's evening here in Brisbane, so you're on the right. Thank you.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah. So yes, if you can just project a slide for me, and I'll speak to a slide. Thank you.
Then, that's good. I'll do that when I can find my slides. Share screen, and I think these are the questions that we looked at together. So please tell us about the work you're doing with ASM and the environment and so on. First of all, I would like to introduce you. Wilson, could you put your camera on for just a second, if you can, so we can meet you? Thank you, Wilson. We can sort of see you. Beautiful red shirt. Thank you. Wilson is, let me get this right, the deputy manager, is that correct, of the Minerals
Yeah.
Commission in Ghana.
Yeah.
He spends all his days out with miners, and I've been working with him for a while, and he piqued my interest the other day when he talked a little bit about the work they're doing on the environment. So let's start with you talking to us, Wilson, and then we'll go. If you need to go, you're very welcome to go, because I know you're busy. So could you tell us a little bit about the work you're doing with your ASM and the environment in Ghana?
Okay, thank you very much, Linda. And once again, I'm happy to be part of this discussion. Yeah, so as you mentioned, one of the first question about what are we doing with ASM environment is that indeed we are, environment is part of the mining process from the word go, and so even we start solving the environmental problems from the time we are issuing licenses to people. And so it's part of the criteria in issuing out a mining license to small-scale miners. And as part of that, we always try to screen your area of interest for environmental issues. And so that is part of that. If you have to also, deal with compensation issues and then and all that, and then how to manage water bodies and then all that, we make sure that we capture those things, especially in your document before a license is granted. And so those who are really doing legal approaches are very mindful of this. And so the environment is looked at two phases. One phase is with the Minerals Commission. The other phase is with Environmental Protection Agency. They also have their own way of, screening for environmental issues and all that, environmental and social issues, so to speak. And before even you are permitted to go to the field to operate as a small-scale mining license owner, you need to also obtain environmental permit from the Environmental Protection Agency, and that is also that comes with a lot of obligations that you have to meet. And so you have to tell them how you're going to do the mining, whether it's underground mining or surface mining, and how you're going to handle environmental issues and all that. So, and once you're able to pass that, then they will be convinced to give you a permit to operate. With regards to that, there's another layer.
It's frozen. Okay. Well, it looks like we've
that has to do digging permit. Yeah, the digging permit assesses some the mode of entering into the working areas and all that. So that has to also come with your plan, your work, we'll call it work plan and all that. So you have to tell us how you're going to go around your operations and all that in a very simplified manner. And so, and if I can link that one with your question 3, that has to do large scale mining and then small scale mining. So we took that concept from the large scale to just ensure that at least we would make it simple with small scale miners so that they'll be able to handle. And that came about as a result of the issue in 2017-18. That way we banned the small scale mining activities in Ghana. So we want to now do a proper thing so that at least if you go to a small scale miner, you can say, what is your operational plan? They should be able to tell you how they're going to carry out their activities. And so we have really teased out from that large scale concept to meet the small scale mining standards as you speak. And so what works in small scale mining is a very big question, but everything works. Sometimes what we have the only time we have a challenge with small scale mining with respect to question 2 is that we sometimes find difficulties in getting the actual production from miners. They under declare just with the mindset that, oh, if you declare that you have made this amount of money, government will come after you for tax and all that. And so that is the only challenge that I see.
Mm-hmm.
Is in place and trying to ensure that small-scale miners don't operate in impunity. So if inspectors are now all over, the Minerals Commission have now, over the past 2-3 years, have really engaged a lot of people to really go into the field to do the monitoring and all that, inspections and all that. So if they find you doing things contrary to what your license has asked you to do, then they'll fine you and you have to pay. Otherwise, they'll close down your operations. And so it is really giving a very strong signal to them that, look, if you don't do the right thing, then when we close down your operations, you have to pay a fine before you are allowed to go back to your field. So some of these things, they are working. Is that people are not ready to really declare the actual gold produced from their sites or the actual sun, especially the sun winning issues. Sun winning is a bit, we call it a fast track event. They try to scoop the thing even in the night. They still, some of them mine in the night because of the road issues because we don't want a lot of, for instance, Accra, the capital like this, we don't want to bring in the trucks into the mainstream daytime to cause unnecessary traffic. So most of them do their operations in the night to beat some of this. So it is something that is really worrying us, and because you cannot, the inspectors are not also there in the night to monitor. So it's only daytime. So by the time you get to the site, they
Okay. Wilson, can I suggest you turn Wilson, can
yes,
you turn your camera off because you keep dropping out?
Okay, so I think I keep breaking. Oh, sorry. Okay,
put your
I think that'll help. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
it's off now.
That's good.
Yes. So going back to
3 maybe.
I'm going back to question 3 because I need to point out something. There's another aspect of it. We call them ACOBIN rating system. That's which is it's a rating system regards to the environment. And so the large scale people have it. We want to do it for the small scale, and that is what question 4 comes into being, because the project, I'm also on this World Bank project. The project is trying to sponsor this activity so that we can translate whatever is from the small large scale to small scale. And so it's a rating system that we think if we are able to do it, it will help the small scale miners in their operations. So the World Bank project that's the landscape project, is sponsoring that activity, and we have far advanced. We try to see whether we have developed the terms of reference for that, and the consultant is yet to start work, but we are giving him about 6 months to complete that exercise. The bank is also trying to revise the environmental guidelines for small scale mining and to that effect. So the guidelines that we have now, all guidelines that was prepared somewhere in 1994. And that is quite a long time. So the bank is also sponsoring that aspect so that we'll be able to revise the environmental guidelines for small scale so that it will reflect the current status of what we are doing, especially with the advent of the environmental and social governance that we have now. Every activity that we do, we have to look into those principles and all that. And so, in a nutshell, I know I have been breaking on and off. Maybe if you didn't get some aspect of it, you can highlight it for me to explain further. Thank you very much, Glenda.
Yeah, no, before we open up to questions, what was the name of the tool? Can you spell it? AQUA, was it? Aquabin?
Aquabin. It's AKO. It's a local word. It's not an English word.
Okay.
AK.
Okay.
Yeah, so AKOBEN, Aquabin.
Okay, so it's a 3-word or something.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's Aquabin. Yeah, it's a 2-word. Yes.
So just for everyone here, I was very intrigued because this is a tool that you've been using to do environmental monitoring for large-scale mining. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly.
And now you're trying to apply this to the small-scale mining.
Small-scale mining that's exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So that is kind of interesting because tonight we're looking at the whole issue of environment and how miners can consider the environment for permitting, but also in looking after their land. So I'd like to we're very, very lucky to have Wilson with us tonight. He's a very busy man. I wondered if anyone's got any questions they'd like to find out. I'm sure some of you have. Please go ahead. Nothing yet. Yes, Shahrazad has raised their hand. Can you please open up your mic and ask your question? Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Very interesting presentation. Thanks a lot, Wilson. I'm actually also very interested in this Aquabin tool that you're using, and I was wondering whether there is like public information about it online, if you can share documents or links that we can learn about the tool.
That'll be wonderful. I'm willing to do that. I'll share it. I'll send it to Linda, and Linda can send it to you all.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Can you tell me, Shahrazad, a bit about yourself and why you're interested?
Yes, thank you, Linda, for giving me the chance. My name is Shahrazad Manucheri. I'm working at the World Resources Forum Association in Switzerland. We are involved in several projects related to responsible sourcing and responsible mining. And one of them that is currently going on is called Africa Mobile. It's about the EU-Africa partnership on sustainable raw materials value chains. And one specific element of this project is to develop capacity building programs for the ASM sector. And actually, we were recently in Zimbabwe together with Blessing, with Sophia and Kundai, who are in this call, also my colleague Robin, in Zimbabwe for organizing a capacity building program for the ASM sector working on lithium. Just in a nutshell about myself and why I'm interested in this.
Okay. Has anyone else got a question, or have you had any experience in working with tools for your environment, for your mines? Kundai, have you got any thoughts? I know you're busy training women all the time.
Hi, Linda.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. I think there's I don't know if Lenia has introduced herself, who is in the group, Lenia Mbira, who is she works with the Environmental Management Agency. I've seen a bit of her work. Maybe she can share with us. I've seen something that she has done with women. I don't know if we can call it a tool, or maybe she can share a bit of what she has done with us if she hasn't spoken before.
No, she hasn't. Go ahead, please.
Hello, thank you so much. My name is Lenia Mbira. I was with Environmental Management Agency for the past 17 years, which is the law enforcement agency for Zimbabwe, overseeing all environmental issues and compliance. My experience with working with women has been quite a toilsome order, as there are so many issues that needs to be attended to in terms of ASM. But recently we have been at one of the sites of one of our ASMs where they're doing avocado rehabilitation of a mine dump, whereby we think by the time we start to harvest the avocados, the mine dump itself would have been put to use through reclamation. The mine is located in Banket, is indicated on that slide. So that's one of the ways of land reclamation that is taking place in Zimbabwe, and we expect that to expand to other areas and other small-scale mining areas who have just abandoned their sites without doing any rehabilitation. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments?
So Linda, can I come? Linda, can I come in? I just want to find out from the last speaker. So the last statement that she made, that they abandoned their lands and so how, is it you don't have any form of tracing them once they they leave the site, and who is responsible for the reclamation?
Basically, according to the statutes and regulations of Zimbabwe, it is the proponent or the mine owner who's supposed to do the rehabilitation. But you find out that in some of the areas, because there's no adequate monitoring of the mining activities, the proponents will just mine out their mineral, and when they're done, they leave the sites. But basically, the government is trying to have officers on the ground to follow up on all those disused mines and trying to trace back the owners so that they can participate in the rehabilitation of the mining area.
Yes, thank you very much. I think this is what we are also doing here. So even before you even grant your license is granted to you, you need to get some documents, your personal ID, so that in case you default, we try to publish your name in the papers, in the daily graphics and all that. So it's a form of the deterrent for them to ensure that they do the right thing. Because once we capture your details, we have something called Ghana card. That Ghana card contains everything about the applicant. And so once we capture that, anywhere you are, we publish your name, that you have done A, B, C, D, and you've vacated a place without reclaiming the land. So you'll be called to book. So that is helping anyway. So I'm happy that you are taking steps to address some of these things. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yeah, also here in Zimbabwe, we use the environmental management plan. Like every miner who wants to mine legally has to do the environmental impact assessment. And once they get the certificate, the Environmental Management Agency will then have some audits and monitoring activities on those sites to track and see whether the miners are complying with what they stated in the environmental management plan. And where they are not compliant, they get orders or they get penalties, and also are ordered to correct the non-compliant aspect.
Yes, that's true. That's okay. That's true. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
My question, Wilson.
Go on.
Okay, my question, Wilson, is at a site like this one that I am, I mean, this is a site whereby a miner gave part of the land to the community people to mine and sell. So the challenge is now, how can we then assist them? You would find out, I'm going to share some photos in the group as well. There's so many challenges, and this is what we get at most of the sites. I think I was in Tanzania 2 weeks ago, and a week ago I was in Tanzania. There was a site exactly the same as this site, exactly the same as what people are doing here. That's how that site was. I visited another site again in Zambia. As much as we have the law enforcement agencies, but it looks like many groups are working, and the way the places that they're working are really not safe. And I'm just thinking, what other way can we do to encourage the rehabilitation of the environment? What tool or what assistance, what can you advise us on, like for a group that I'm sitting with right now, 60 women who are here and who are working? What advice would you give us to make sure we are working correctly, to make sure we rehabilitate? What kind of way do you advise us to do?
Thank you very much. So before I move to answer your question, suggest some solutions. So what type of mining are they engaging? Is it surface mining or underground mining operations?
Okay, the operations are surface. So it's like they're small open cast pits.
Okay.
Yes, I'm going to share the pictures in. Yes, there's shallow open casts, small. So like a group of 3-4 women who have a shallow open cast. Yeah.
Okay. And so from your opening remarks, you said that a miner, a licensed or a miner gave portion of the concession to this community to operate, isn't it?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
So it means that they are not operating illegally. They are legally, allowed to be on the site. And so in Ghana, where to solve that problem, we also had similar issues like what you have now. And to solve it, Ghana, what we did was to introduce the concept of community mining. Concept of community mining is that operations mining by the people of the community for the community, and then we call it a democratic way of mining in the community. And so and everything, they take every responsibility for engaging in the mining operations. And because they are from the community, we believe strongly that they will ensure that they comply with all the regulations. Because if I'm mining within my community, I wouldn't want to leave it, in a state that it cannot be, it cannot support, life after mining activities. And so they form laws. We have something called bylaws to govern them, how they're going to do the operation, who is their leader, who is going to do what, and who is responsible for what and what. And anytime the inspector gets to the site, they will have to call for a meeting for what do you call it? Sensitization, just tell them that, yes, you are doing this mining ABCD, but it is your responsibility to ensure that you reclaim the land, even though you are from the community. So if you are from the community, it gives you that responsibility, that sense of urgency to ensure that you don't leave your operations in a state that it is worse off than you started. And so it's working. We also had the same scenario. It's working, and people are being responsible, and mostly the community leaders will also make sure that, yes, you have been given this place to mine. Make sure that you reclaim the land. Because if you don't reclaim the land, our children will not even benefit from whatever activities you have done and all that. So, and it is paying off. And I feel that, and that concept, I have a what do you call it? We call it a framework in that regard. And I'll be sharing that with Linda shortly after this, so that you can read from whatever and then get some kind of tidbits, so to speak, to ensure that at least you are equipped to handle some of these things going forward. Thank you.
I'd like to hear from other people in the room. We have very generously heard from Wilson in Ghana, but I'm sure many of you here have experience about this. Chitse, you have something to say? Would you like to open your microphone and tell us if you've got the bandwidth? Chitse?
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity. I think for starters, thank you so much, the gentleman from Ghana. We get better by learning from each other. True, I think if they can be organized into probably an association, or call it a cooperative, whichever way is better. But take note, one thing that is pulled down most associations is that people will not have responsibility. No matter there are 60 women, there is enough work for each and everyone. You find that associations or cooperatives, the responsibility will be left to the leadership. And at the end of the day, there'll be too much for the leadership to do. So it will choke them. They'll suffer from burnout and resulting in the death of the association. So since they are 60, they can actually come up with leaders, maybe divide each other into sections, give each other turns to work, help them, realize the power of contributing. For example, they can, without external funding, they can actually semi-mechanize themselves. For example, there are 60 people. You might need things like, here we call it a pam-pam, the hand driller. Instead of them doing it manually, like what they are extracting manually, you need small equipment like that hand driller. It costs something like $100, and you might need a generator to support that. So when you're just looking at an item for $100, there are 60 women. It means each one is contributing something like $50, which can actually be affordable. Or alternatively, they can team up and sacrifice the first 2-3 lots that they sell, and then they can self-finance themselves slowly. They won't be able to do it overnight, but that only happens when there is leadership. And then when it comes to reclamation, usually we are all human beings. There's that element of, call it selfishness, if I'm to be blunt, where we do things that would benefit us. If we are to sell the idea to them that, no, you're protecting the environment, they might not really buy into it when you say, if we do this, for example, we've seen the avocado plantation led by Blessing. If you give the idea, you sell the idea to the women miners to say, the reclamation itself, if we plant avocados here, the avocado fruiting season will last for 10, 20 years. They see the bigger picture. They see how it can benefit them. There will be an easy buy-in to the reclamation. So the whole thing hinges on knowledge, on encouragement, on making people see the bigger picture, on making people see the power of teamwork, that if they want to go alone and each one is doing it and saying, I've dug just this pit, I will just close this pit, it's not as effective as when they team up as a group, find a project that will come out of the reclamation even their waste, if the waste can be sold for something that can benefit them as well, teach them that. That way we can get good results from the efforts of this brilliant group of 60 women. I want to say congratulations, all done, blessing for identifying such a group. Usually when we have made progress in our mining journeys, it's not easy to go out and look out for that woman who's at the lowest level. Usually those women are looked down upon, but trust me, they are feeding families, they are changing the narrative, they are adding value to the economy. Well done, Blessing, and well done to those women. It's not easy to get into such an environment. It's not even safe. It's in an open place. So that's why in the charts there, I was saying they can actually start by fencing off. Yes, they've been given authority, but the person who has given them authority to work there will not also be obliged to protect them, but they need to protect themselves. So if they manage to fence off that area, they can then engage security. They can even hire their own security. If it means they're women, then they can have their husbands working as the security guards. You know, usually the tradition in my country, the woman, if the woman doesn't support her, he might be a stumbling block to the progress of the wife that he is married to. So they can actually involve their men, hire them, not pay them as much as those security guards in other companies, but hire them, even if they've got mature children, like those in their early 20s, we've got a higher unemployment rate. Those are the guys that they can hire to be security guards. Because I'm just wondering what happens when they've got heaps of their dolomite, heaps of their quarry lying there. What happens at night? Are there no incidences where those errant mine robbers will come and rob their hard work? So they can actually also engage the men that they are related to or they are married to work as their security guards, to protect them as well, even when they go back home after a day's hard work. They can actually have cabins, proper houses, unlike those sheds that I've seen. Proper houses on site where they can sleep, you know, for those who are on duty, because they might not be there every day, or they're traveling long distances to their houses. It's unfortunate. I'm just thinking outside off the cuff. I didn't have the full background. I joined late, but I'm just thinking they need decent accommodation. Ablution services, it's very doable, but they can also utilize the relationships that they have with their husbands, with their brothers, with their children, the men, the support, to give them the support for a nominal fee, because relationships make good business partnerships.
Thank you, Chair.
That's all from me.
Thank you so much for very practical and helpful. Blessing. And I'd like to just for the last 15 minutes, focus very tightly on the environment. Blessing, you've got your hand up.
Okay, there's a lady here. Let me put the video who's been following, and she said, I've got a question. I've got to say a contribution. Okay, so
please go ahead.
Let me take the videos. Yeah.
Dambudziko ratinonzwa kuti patinoshanda mashafti acho hatisi kuziva, tanga titodawo training yekuti tizive kuti tinoshanda sei tichienda nekupi. Saka kana tisina training saizvozvo hapana kwati kuenda, hatisi kuziva. Matombo edu tinounganidza, tinobva padhuze padzimba dzedu, matombo edu haadiwe. Sezvamataura kuti tinoda security fence, isu vamwe hatina varume vanozotisira mapuwa acho ekuti tiite security fence.
I think Chichi, you can interpret that, please, for the group. Thank you.
Okay, the lady is saying we welcome the idea of a security fence, but some of us are not married. We don't have the husbands who will dig those poles for us. From the time they've started working, nobody has stolen their all from them. And also she's saying they need to be taught about the geology of the area, and probably also be helped in getting a geological report so that they know what the body ores that they are working on, so that they do sustainable mining practices.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for your voice from the field. Jeffrey, we have a question from you.
Yes, Linda, thank you very much. It's not a question. I would just like to comment and also make a contribution in as far as that aspect of mine reclamation and where a community member surrenders part of his land for other person to conduct mining. In Uganda, to address the issue of mine reclamation with the artisanals, most times artisanals would share pits, and when they have finished their work, their mining, they would abandon that pit, and there will be nobody who is responsible for reclaiming that land. So with the aspect of the formalization of artisanals, which is now part of the law, a mechanism has been addressed for the artisanals. So if by the time you start mining as an artisanal, you will have to be given a permit, which is called the artisanal permit. Now, in that permit, you need to identify and really put how you will manage your environmental issues and how you will reclaim the land. And therefore, the regulator will have to follow up with you up to the time of your mine closure. However, if you at any point would want to surrender part of your mine to another member of the community or to share with another person, you must inform the regulator to ensure that you is aware and consents that you have given that part to another person, and that person will be responsible for the mine reclamation. Because at certain point, if you do not inform, you as the person who gave out and who has not benefited from the mine will be responsible. And there's also another obligation in that you must make up a document, a memorandum of understanding between the two of you, showing the circumstances under which you are going to work, and undertaking that you take the obligation of reclaiming that part of the mine as per the person who was given that permit. Also now, for those who operate as an association, as a group, the leadership of that group will always allocate, and the consent begins with that leadership to say, yes, I'm giving this part to another person, and that person will be responsible for the mining and also the mine closure and rehabilitation. That is how we manage it. So it is important that there must be the aspect of traceability in terms of responsibility, documenting it from the regulator to the person, the owner of the permit, and to the person who has been assigned. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
I'm calling you shortly.
Okay. Thelma, please take the floor.
All right, good morning. Sorry, I actually joined a little bit late, but I just following and hearing what others are contributing.
Excuse me, Thelma, could you introduce yourself, please?
Okay, my name is Thelma Nkowani from Zambia. I'm a miner, an artisanal small-scale miner, and I also belong to associations. I'm a deputy chairperson for women in extractive industry, trade and value addition.
Okay, please go ahead with your comment.
Okay. I just wanted to give a scenario as to how we go about it here in Zambia. If I have a large-scale mine or someone has a large-scale mining, we do get, you are able to place or give a bit of some land to other people depending on locations where they would want, which we call artisanal and small-scale mining. So you can place, but as you are placing those artisanal and small-scale mining certificates, you will be responsible.
Okay.
Everybody, if you're not speaking, please mute.
You will be responsible for the area where you are mining. Because before you actually get a full certification, you need to undertake an environmental impact assessment, which the regulators will have to ensure they do the assessment. They come onto the site, they check it out, and according to what you've put there, also even an environmental project briefing. So you will clearly indicate what are the foreclosure measures that you will put in place. There's also a fund which you need to contribute as an ASM towards the foreclosure, so that in case of anything, that is money that can come in. The regulators can come in and pump in and ensuring that that is also done. But the onus is actually purely based on the miner themselves who are mining. But this is in a case where we're talking about properly formalized and licensed to the latter.
Thank you, Thelma. That's very, very, very interesting to have that perspective. I see that Faith has got a comment. Faith, would you like to actually speak that comment out?
Linda, also Jabulani, I think, wants to have.
Yeah, okay. Faith will be next, please. Faith, thank you. If you'd like to say that, Jabulani's already had a turn. Faith? 1, 2, 3. Okay, over to Jabulani then. Jabulani, did you want to speak? She doesn't seem to be wanting to speak. Anyone else would like to make a comment to these points that have been raised? It seems like we're adopting a very top-down approach with, doing, I wonder really how much the miner understands about his own responsibility and his own land and things that he can do in order to grow crops and so on. I think this is very important, and I really like the approach that they've done recently in Zimbabwe with growing back with avocado, because you're bringing another crop into this area. Is there any other comments? Jabulani, did you want to speak? No. Okay. Let me share the screen.
I think Wilson has raised his hands.
Okay, Wilson, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Linda. I just wanted to comment the lady in the field that asked a question or contributed in the area of geology, and I really want to comment her for that. She's a practical lady, and I like the submission. Thank you.
Thank you, Wilson. The reason we are doing this talk is the forum that Blessing has so beautifully organized going out into the field is that we're in the period of creating an ASM academy, an academy that can speak from miners to miners. And so one of the sub points of this first module is indeed geology. And the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about geology and how to enable miners to get access to geology. Is there any more comments? I'd like to share something, if not. This is something I found quite interesting. We did a survey a few months ago, working with the World Bank in the Delve Exchange. And I'd just like you to look at this observation number 1. This is going to be published very soon. So in a way, you're getting an inside information. We found, this was the question: what type of change would you most like to see in your life as a miner? And the number 1 change was better management of environmental impact of operations. 281 participants from across the world said this. They put it before just slightly productivity, safety, licensing, even before better income. Are you surprised by this? Yes, Chedza. Please go ahead.
I'm not surprised because honestly speaking, I'll tell you a sad story. The environment has been damaged. In my area, chrome mining, I think for a period of 3 years, when I was a leader of the whole province for artisanal miners, I attended 5 funerals where we lost children to accidents, where they went swimming. Another one fell into this deep pit, which was left by chrome miners, and she was trying to get some water, to access water to do laundry. She died, and I only managed, as a person, I only managed to have that pit filled only last year with the help of a big mining company. I engaged them and they gave me trucks with whole loads of rubble to fill that up. So that survey has pinpointed something which is important. I'm just talking of my area only. This is where I stay. And in a period of 3 years, you have 5 deaths resulting from the negligence or the damage that was caused to the environment.
Interesting. That's interesting perspective. Yeah, that's looking at the safety aspect of it. Thank you, Chedza. Thelma, you say you are not surprised. Would you like to comment on that?
Yeah, I'm not surprised because I really, this is the most top priority. Safety is really at hand. Most of these, especially the unformalized, you would find that there are a lot of accidents that happen, and some of them are not even reported. I'll give a typical example in Zambia. We have a place, a town called Chingola. Because of non-safety adherence, we had a number of deaths where these miners were trapped underground because they were just digging holes, trenches, going underground to go and fetch their commodity. And due to non-safety measures there, a lot of youths had actually died, where we even saw the president coming in and declaring that day and ensuring bringing in the bigger mines to come and help excavate the bodies. So for me, definitely safety should be priority, and it does not surprise me that it can actually top.
But that's quite interesting. You see, Thelma, it does actually say improved mine safety, which came actually after the better management of the environmental impacts. But I absolutely know what you're talking about. I think I had Ines. Would you like to introduce yourself and give your point of view? Because I'd love to hear what you have to say, Ines, and we'd love to hear from you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ines from Cameroon, from the University of Buea. So I'm working more on construction materials, but also those materials for the development. I would just like to comment, yes, on what you mentioned, because I think maybe there is a kind of confusion that is done, even from what the 2 comments that I heard just before I take the speech, is that maybe we confuse the environmental impact, like what is eco-friendly, for instance, than the safety, like the environment, the area where we are working. And I'm saying that because I had the chance to discuss with some who were working in a quarry or sand quarry, where they were extracting sand from water, from rivers. And then they were combining all of the 3 factors that you highlighted, the environmental aspect, the fact that they have to go further down the river to have good sand, and also the fact that there was an issue with the safety. So for me, it's not that I'm not surprised, but I think maybe some miners can get confused with the environmental aspects. That is what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Very interesting, Ines. And Ines brings a really unique perspective. I suggest you get to know Ines. She has a great deal to contribute to our group in terms of understanding development minerals and, using a circular economy approach to our mines where nothing is wasted. And I think although we are not only talking to women, women are particularly concerned with the negative environmental impacts. Sheza, do you still have your hand up from the last time, or is this a new one? Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. Okay, let's have a look at a couple more questions. I'm very interested in this result myself. I find it when I showed it to some people working in the Francophone area, they said they think that this is actually, this concern about the environmental impact operation is a good fruit of some of the huge amount of work that's been done in the area of mercury reduction. There's been so much training go on, and perhaps some of this is really raising people's awareness about the importance of managing environmental impacts. And we've got a few hands up here. First, I think I saw Jeffrey, and then I'll go to Wilson. Jeffrey, would you like to continue first?
Thank you, Linda. I would totally agree. I'm not surprised with this this statement. First of all, my understanding is that the environmental management is looking at the impact or the effect that is caused by the activities of artisanal miners or mining to the air, to the environment in terms of air pollution, in terms of carbon dioxide emission, and in terms of greenhouse effects. And I vividly remember well my first time I encountered the artisanals. There was an aspect of trying to eradicate mercury use among the artisanals. Now, this comes in time because of the much work that has been done in terms of research and in terms of making sure that mercury should be reduced and other good practices should be encouraged among artisanals and also mining at large. It's also now a concern worldwide that mining damages land and environment, and if not mitigated, it causes more damage. And now, by this, they're trying to ensure that mining should be sustainable. As much as it is important, they should also mitigate its risk in terms of environmental damage for sustainability, for the future generation. This is my opinion, I would think.
What is, Jeffrey, those of you who don't know Jeffrey, he's worked a lot with small-scale miners in Uganda, working a lot with people. Did you find that among the Karamojo, you have an interest in the environment?
Yes.
We lost you. It's a shame. We've lost.
Are you with me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
In Karamoja, there is a portion of the community that does artisanal mining of gold. And being a part that was not highly regulated and remote in nature that people fear to reach, there was a total use of mercury in that area. And therefore, it caused a lot of environmental issues. But being that with the coming of the Community Development Trust that was formed through the RAP, now we started conscientizing, creating awareness, and connecting them with the other part of Uganda to ensure that they move around with all the developments which are taking place in Uganda. And that's why they were so instrumental in terms of the formalization of the artisanal amendment of the law. So now, their practices have since been improved, it is monitored, and they now have representations within the Community Development Trust. So this all statement is good in the sense that the environment needs to be protected for the future generation.
Yeah, I think you've touched on something very interesting there, and it is in fact one of my PhD students is working on this research. You know, the way in which care for the environment and finance are linked, and can you use access to finance as a leverage to improve the environment, to put it back, and so on, because you know, most people do not want to ruin their environment, but they just don't have the funds. Wilson, you have your hand up, and I think someone...
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much. I just wanted to add to what the previous speakers have done. I've just said, and so just to say that it's a true reflection of what is happening in the sector, the subsector, so to speak. And so there's various speakers have spoken about safety and environmental impact, but in terms of productivity, I also mentioned that, you know, as you are aware, most of the miners just have this what we call wasteful mining, and they don't actually do a lot of recovery from whatever activities that they are engaging. And that is really a problem. You know, they will have all this, and they'll put in this oil and this energy, and at the end of the day, they don't really recover what is supposed to be, to be commensurate to their effort, just because of lack of knowledge and technology and so many other factors leading to that. And so it's just a true reflection of what is happening in the sector. Thank you.
Yeah, looking at the question, it says, what type of change would you most like to see in your life as a miner? It's not, it's the way it's written, it's kind of like an aspiration, you know, and I think that's kind of very interesting and positive. Do we have any other hands up? It's kind of great to know. Blessing, are you still with us? Yeah, she's brave. She's gone out with 2 devices to a remote area, and it's not very easy to get through.
Yes, I am. I'm still on.
All right, Blessing. Yeah, that's good. I just, I think we probably should stop in a few minutes, but we are trying to collect information from miners about these topics. These questions have gone into your WhatsApp group, and we would really love some testimonies about water, pollution, waste rock and tailings, a huge topic. How is the contamination managed, and are there any particular constraints for women? Those are really vital questions. If you have any thoughts on that. Yeah, so interesting different thoughts we have coming in here from Chedze, who says, I want to call it a new crop of miners. I think that's the way I'd look at it too. I think there's, as well as imposing, you know, the things that you must do to get your environmental permit and so on, isn't it great to think that this is coming from a position of empowerment by miners, that they can bring their skills and their ideas to the fore? Any other comments from Blessing? Anyone from your ladies out there? Do they have any? Do they have a lot of issues with water out there? What do they need water for their mining, or are they just collecting the mineral?
No problem with water.
What about, what do they do with the waste rock and the tailings? What do they do with that?
Pana papane dombo risina basa ere. Waste rock munoita sei kana madhaga munoita sei. Sorry. Okay, so she's saying, oh, we use all the stones here, so we actually crush them and we sell them. Even the sands, we actually sieve them and we also sell them. So they're saying they don't have much of waste rock here.
Very efficient operation. Say congratulations to them that they're really not wasting, because in large scale mining, you know, the quantities of waste rock are so enormous. So be happy. Congratulations, at least on that point. Any comments, any questions from any of the experts?
Yes,
in the
a
room?
comment from Jabulani.
Yes, go
Hi,
ahead.
Linda.
Yeah, go ahead, Jabulani.
Okay, sorry, I've been longing to connect so that I give my comments, and sorry, I will take you a little bit back. When it comes to ways in which the environmental protection, improved mining, and safety of the people can be done, I think we are dealing with people maybe who have limited knowledge in terms of this mining. So I think it's very important that the concerned group of people engage the right authorities, engage the right ministry. For example, we can look at the ministry which is responsible for safety, the ministry which is responsible for mining, the ministry which is responsible for security, everything which concerns the small-scale artisanal miners. So I think engagement is key. Then after engaging, refresher courses, I think they are very important. Those people have to undergo refreshers, trainings regularly, so that we improve the way their perception concerning mining, their perception concerning the environment. And when we do that, we'll find that we will have a positive mining culture. And on those three which you talked about, I think to me, improve the safety will be the best. Because once you improve the safety in terms of mining, once you improve that the safety of the people, you boost their confidence, even in terms of how they produce, how they mine, how they interact with the environment. So those were the few comments which I would like to add to the group. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Any comments about that? Any?
Yes, I have a comment, Linda. From what he has said, I'm actually seeing the need for trainer of trainers. There is real need, even if people can't go to all the sites, at least if there are few people from different sites that are trained on the correct mining methods, because I think it's critical for people to know how they can mine, if they're doing low shafts, if they're doing underground shafts, how the best way to work. So that is very critical, because you can see some of the shafts, the way people are working here are not safe at all. So I think there's big need for trainer of trainers, people who can even train people in certain maybe districts. A trainer is taken for training, then they can come back and train others.
Absolutely. I hope this is one of the things that we will be able to provide some materials for training of trainers, for trainers to use when they go out into the field. But yeah, I think that the message is getting through at least from that survey, it seems. So that's of great interest. I think we might just leave it at that question there. Are there any further thoughts about environment? I appreciate all the different things that people have said tonight. Thank you especially to Wilson for coming in and speaking. Did anyone else want to say? Jeffrey has still got his hand up, I think, or maybe he forgot to take it down. Jeffrey.
Sorry, I forgot to take it down. I'm pretty okay. And I really appreciate the aspect of trainers, especially being tailored towards specific aspect like environmental management and then mine closure and so forth. But if we make it general, sometimes we tend to forget other sectors, but should tailor made it to specific areas. Thank you.
Yeah, we have 6 modules in the ASM Academy, and there is one dedicated to the environment. Faith, have you still got your hand up, or did you put it down? Faith, please go ahead.
Okay, hi, how are you, Linda?
Hi, Faith, please go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to add on what Blessing and the previous speaker was mentioning.
Please do.
Sorry. I just want to add the areas which we need to cover on the training of trainers. I think we need to do the one on environmental regulations. We need to cover areas of ecosystem awareness, waste management, water management is also crucial. I don't know if it's part of the ASM Academy package. So yeah, my thinking, we just need to involve those as part of the modules.
I think that that's a really very useful to remind us, and Ines, I'm sure you would say the same thing, that ecosystem awareness and considering the circular economy, this is the time to do it. And I think that we can draw on awareness that miners have and refine it, in what we're trying to do. We have a module on that. Thank you for that, Faith. I appreciate that. Definitely, says Ines. There we go. Yes, Faith, I think, has still got her hand up, but I think it should be down. Blessing, will we have the final word from our lovely ladies in the dolomite mining? We would love to say thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to try to get a few film from them, try to get them talking about their environment, those questions. We'll use that in our training.
All right, we'll do, Linda. Sorry about the bad network. We had to move from another site to get good network. That's why I just got cut off and I was a bit panicky. But anyway, thank you so much for going on with the presentation. And all the ladies here are happy. They're happy and they all say thank you for the education. Thank you. You can see them waving their hands and saying, thank you so much. We need the training, and we are prepared to do the correct thing and to make it better, because this is a livelihood for us. So all the women here are quite excited for us coming with the Delvey Exchange to their site. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Blessing. Now Blessing has become very good at filming, because you know that our ASM Academy is not about experts telling miners what to do. It is not that. It is miners talking to other miners about the right thing to do. So, and sharing their approaches and using the best that we can find, of course. So Blessing, take a couple of videos of women talking to you about the issues that they have, any of the environmental issues that they have. You're saying that they're using all their rock and so on, but I'd like you to go and have a look around while you're out there today. Is there anyone else that would like to say something before we go? Faith, are you wanting to speak, or have you just got your hand still up? Chedze's got hers up. All right, please just go ahead. Just take the microphone and go ahead. Chedze?
I do. I think now there are so many changes in the mining sector. What we used to term waste rock, other people are finding good use for it. For example, it's my mine, my gold mine. Somebody came and bought the waste rock. We thought they were buying it, to fill up the road, to maintain the road, only to find out they went on to process it for other things. So I think we need to find out so much what can be what we call our waste can be used for, because I think there's so much. I think there was money in the waste rock that I sold. Yes, I got my portion, which I was happy with, but I believe they got more. So we need to find out with the different minerals. There is waste rock in chrome mining. There's waste rock in gold mining, in dolomite. We need to find out before we dispose it as waste. We need to find out how best or what else can be derived out of that. That's my input.
Thank you. And we have with us Ines, who would be very well placed to talk to us about that. We've got two other raised hands. Can you just go ahead? I can't quite see who it is. Maybe I'll stop sharing. Galaxy guest. I don't know who you are, but would you like to go ahead? Galaxy A12. What's your name? Hello. What's your name?
Yes, it's Chanel. I've been put it out and I've used another gadget to rejoin the meeting.
Oh,
But my contribution, yes, my contribution was on the challenges to do with pollution.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Yes, I've noticed that most of the pollution is because of the ASMs are not yet equipped with the right equipment for use, and they don't have systems in place to manage the waste effluent. So they just use what is available to them. And I think it is best to capacitate these ASMs with the best technologies, which are cheap and affordable, in order for them to reduce the impact of pollution on the land, surface water, and groundwater sources.
Thank you. Anyone? Faith, are you still having your hand up, or is that just from last time? Maybe it's from before. We've got some good comments in the chat. Ines has put the idea of circularity. Are you still with us, Ines? Could you explain what that means? Circularity, I'm sure you can.
No, it was just to agree with one of the comments that was saying that we need to check what we can do with the waste that are produced. And like you said, it's something that we tend to somehow neglect. Why we can use for some other, those waste can have some other use. So I was just agreeing about that idea, to have a kind of circularity where we might be even able to have no waste at the end of the process. Yes. So it was just to agree. One said.
I think that's very fantastic that you bring that perspective.
Something.
Go ahead. Yes, Galaxy.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Oh. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Maybe to add on to the issue of circularity, maybe how I take it is to raise awareness on the miners on the importance of zero discharge, whereby we say all the wastewater they produced be recycled, be pre-treated, and then it's recycled back into the system to be used for further processes and not be discharged into the environment. And through that process, it means there's zero discharge, and the pollution to the land and water sources will be managed well. Thank you.
Anything else to say here? I don't know, there's hands up. I'm not sure if they're up or they haven't come down yet. There's a lot to do, and it's a very exciting area. I think that there is so much to learn from people like Ines and Faith and so on who've been studying the ecology. Why not? Why can't ASM lead the field here in terms of actually caring for their environment? Our ASM miners, you're an ASM miner, you know what I'm talking about. You live every day with the consequences of mining, and you know what happens, you know, especially when the water, you can't drink it anymore. It has terrible impacts, particularly for women who are having to go further and further to pick up the water. Blessing, are you still with us? Would you like to say a final word? She's busy. There she is.
No. All right. Thank you so much. My final word is yeah, Delphi Exchange is the place to be. And we really want to learn more. The women out here really want to learn more. And the ASM Academy, we can't wait for it. I know it's going to come from us, by us, and we're going to learn from each other. But we can't wait. And we really want to learn. And I think everybody, all the ladies here have been shouting out that that's what we, so Delphi Exchange, it's for us. I think they can shout out that it's for us by us, because we're making it. So ladies, let me put the video on, then just shout out the final time. Togoti Delphi Exchange for us by us. And it's Delphi Exchange for us by us. So bye everyone.
Thank you so much, Blessing. You are a champion. All right, everybody. You're so welcome to come to the Delphi Exchange, and you are very welcome on the WhatsApp group, no matter who you are, where you've come from. We are working together to create something for miners by miners, and we're working through the themes. And Fitsum, the next theme is going to be about what? The next module will be about looking at some of the ways value addition and different ways that we can add value to the mine's supply chain and so on. So that's going to be the next one when we finish this one. Fitsum, you got your microphone.
Yes, that's right, Linda. It's going to be about value addition, access to finance, market, and so on. So hopefully it will be a good, engaging conversation as well, as we've been having the last couple of months. So thank you everyone for sharing your experiences, your stories, your knowledge. This is, like Blessing said, this is what Delphi Exchange is all about. It's about sharing information, sharing knowledge between miners. So
exactly,
happy for us to learn with you as well. Thank you.
Anything else to say? Okay, let's meet again on the WhatsApp group. If you've got things to share, get your cameras out, go out and take some photos, some videos, and we look forward to seeing you again very soon. All right, I'll just say goodbye now and let you get on with your day. Thank you very much for coming. Bye-bye now.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.